Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Deepak Unyal. In previous lecture we have discussed the side effect of a macro, and we have seen that we were avoiding this by just putting a parenthesis around this expression. So what we could do, we could define an inline function by the keyword inline and then return type of that function, what it want to return. Let us suppose I want to calculate square of a number whose data type is x. So I will write return x cross x, and everything is fine now. So let us, or what we can do, let us compile this file and we get expected output, it's 1. So how this inline function helps us, or what is the difference between inline function or macro, or we can also compare inline function or regular function. So let's contrast between a macro or inline function. So the first point is, when you talk about macro, this is expanded by preprocessor. But if we talk about inline function, this is passed by compiler. So as we have discussed, there are multiple phases in a compilation process. So in the second phase, which is pre-processing, macro is expanded there, and after that next phase comes in which inline function is passed by the compiler. Second thing, as we have seen here, has defined max 100, or we can write it like this or remove comment. So has defined max 100. This max is replaced by 100 in whole program, but this max doesn't get any memory, or there is no memory assignment for the macro. So no memory assignment for macro. But this is not the case with the inline function, as it has a default memory or default storage in symbol table. Third point, as we have seen here clearly, or I will try to remove the comment here. As we have seen the side effect of a macro, when we call square of 6, it was replaced by 6 cross 6, and it doesn't calculate the value first. So this is simple text replacement. Whereas this in this inline function, it is similar to regular function call. But when we are saying that macro inline function are similar to regular functions, but still we are writing it differently, right? We are writing inline here, and if it would have been a regular function, we would not have written this inline here, but we are writing inline. So there should be some difference between inline function and regular function. So what is the difference? In case of inline function, or I will write it in the next line, in case of inline function, a copy of the compiled code is written at the place where we are calling that function. Suppose I am calling square of 6, which is inline function. So the copy of this code, compiled copy of this code will be copy and pasted here at this point where I am calling this function. But with the regular function, a normal function call is generated, and there is some overhead here. overhead in function calls. which is avoided by this overhead is avoided by inline functions. So it is the benefit of inline function that it avoid this overhead. So what are other advantages of inline functions over normal function call? The first thing is avoid overhead of function call. Second thing, avoid overhead of push and pop. Variables on the stack. A third point, avoid the overhead of return call from a function. Although these first and third point are almost same, that it's avoiding overhead, but these are the advantage of inline function over a normal function call. And what are advantage of inline function over a macro? As we have seen previously, that it avoids the side effect of macro, as it and how it avoids is not copy paste and calculate the desired output, right? So these are the benefits of a inline function. One important thing that I would like to discuss, that compiler might reject the request of inlining the function. So this is most important point here. As we are inlining this function, we are requesting compiler to please inline this function. It is not necessary that compiler will always inline the function or will always copy and paste the compiled version of this function at this point. It is not necessary. So there are some cases in which it might reject the request of inline the function. So what are those cases? It could happen when function contains a loop. Second thing, it could happen when there are some static variables in function. Third, it could happen when function has some recursion. Or function have some switch or go to statements. In all these cases, these inline requests might get rejected. So I think it's enough for the lecture. We have discussed about macro and inline functions. I will comment this thing so that it doesn't get executed and program doesn't give me any error. The thing that is required here is this. So guys, if you have any doubt, please put it in the comments, or you can write me a mail. I will try to revert back. Thank you so much.